Yesterday, it was another tight one under the roof at Minute Maid Park. Kendall Graveman pitched to Jim. The offense got clutch hits when they needed them, and the A's took Game 3 of this 4-game set versus the Astros. With a win today, Bob Melvin and the boys will win the series and go into the break feeling good and hope to make a splash in the second half. It's the A's and the Astros. Game 4 is next.
Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. It's back, the Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Well, welcome to Minute Maid Park as we get set for the 4th and final game of this series. Today's game is presented by Hyundai, and it's the A's and the Astros coming up here on CSN California. So we apologize for some of the technical difficulties we had, but we're good right before first pitch, and that's the most important thing.
So it was our best open.
And we did not see, our wonderful viewers didn't have to see our faces today, so it's a good start already.
That's right. That's why it was the best.
So Sean Manaea has finished his warm-up toss as he's walking back toward the A's dugout. The Astros getting set to take the field, and it is the final game of the first half. Game time weather today presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 90 degrees outside. Roof is closed. We are inside here at Minute Maid Park. So the A's have taken 2 out of 3, and they'll try to win the series today. Bob Melvin and the Athletics wearing the green tops today, and the home Astros will wear their dark blue tops. So both teams wearing dark tops today. There's your starting pitcher in the background, Dallas Keuchel. He looks like he's ready to go, and when the starting pitcher says, "Let's go," everybody follows.
And it's take the field with the pros. All the kids on the field, they're ready. Otherwise, those are the kids are going to play today. Who knows?
So the Astros take the field, led by Dallas Keuchel. So let's check the Athletic starting lineup for today. That will face last year's Cy Young Award winner. Starts with Coco Crisp in center field. Marcus Semion's at shortstop. Jed Lowry's at second. Danny Valencia back in the lineup. He's in the cleanup spot. Chris Davis is in left. Billy Butler's the DH. Jake Smolinski's in right. Yonder Alonso's at first. And Mac McBride gets a start today at catcher.
And Vic Carapazza, the home plate umpire, said to Dallas Keuchel, start throwing. Keuchel said, I need a catcher. Gaddis decided to show up, so he's taking the mound and looking for another win. He's won 3 consecutive, but the A's are trying to challenge that today. The beard has not changed. It continues to get longer, and now they have their own court down the left field corner for, I guess, all the Dallas Keuchel fans. But he is 6-9 on the season. Keuchel said, the reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League.
The Astros defense today. Marisnik in left, Gomez in center, Springer in right, Valbuena, Correa, Worth, and Gonzalez around the infield with Evan Gaddis doing the catching. There's Keuchel's corner. That's down the left field line, as Ray said. If you're going to sit down there, you got to wear orange. That's the rule.
You got to have a beard. I think that you got to
have a beard. Yeah, it helps.
Fake beard. And that's pretty original, although that string on the back of the head makes it look kind of obvious that it's fake. But that's all right. Kings Court in Seattle. We got Keuchel's corner here in Houston. And you know, as hot as it is outside, all these people have to be extremely happy to come indoors for a couple, 2 or 3 hours. Let's get beard.
Let's get beard.
Yeah, how about that?
As opposed to let's get weird. So that's how we're going to start this day.
And you
so
better,
Coco swings at the first pitch and rolls it foul.
And you better not look for too much from Dallas Keuchel.
Umpires, there is Vic Carapaz at first, behind the plate. DJ Rayburn at first, Bill Walke at second, and Kerwin Danley is down at third. Coco kicks. The 0-1 pitch to Coco is bounced back to Keuchel. He reaches out and grabs it. He's done that a few times. Terrific fielding pitcher, and that's how the ball game starts.
Well, you win a Gold Glove. That means you're pretty good handling. Ball's hit back up the middle, and that while Coco has the good speed, but he is a couple of times got a Gold Glove, which is the most beautiful trophy there is for a single award. Although he got the Cy Young Award also last year, but he's good fielding his position, and as many shifts you almost have to now if you're pitching in the big leagues.
Here's Marcus Semien hitting in the 2 spot today.
Keuchel last started against the A's last August. Lost 3-1. One of his rare losses in his Cy Young Award season.
And not too shabby last year, Dallas Keuchel.
Well, the A's hitters know it. Again, Darren Bush had them prepared yesterday for McCullers, and they went opposite field. And you really can't try to go get a baseball that's not thrown very hard. That at 79 from Keuchel. And if there's ever a pitcher who will pitch backwards, meaning off-speed pitches and fastball counts, although his fastball is only about 90, 91 topping out at that velocity, so you're going to get a lot of off-speed pitches, cutters, curveballs, changeups. Lance McCullers from yesterday, frustrated from the first pitch, maybe, or first ground ball that his first baseman did not handle. Just 4 innings, 92 pitches. So throwing a lot of curveballs, but not as effective yesterday.
Strike 3 called, and the off-speed pitch. So Semien strikes out. 2 outs here in the first.
Well, there's a curveball breaking in almost like Rich Hill. The first start, first game of this series. Similar type of curveball, so be prepared. You're going to see a lot of them.
So 2 outs, and here's Lowry. There's the breakdown for Keuchel. 26% curves, 12% cutters, 10% change. So he's got a pretty good set of pitches, uses them all. Facing Lowry. Lowry at 284, couple of home runs. And there's a line drive and a base hit to right field.
And that's how you hit against Dallas Keuchel. Sit back, wait, go opposite field. And Jed Lowry, who played behind him last year, knows what he's like, and fastball away. And you know, if you wait for something off speed, which a lot of hitters will not do, but if you get your fastball, that's what you do with it. Hit it to the opposite field. And Jed did it perfectly. He's so happy because he gets to stay at home another 4 days.
Yeah, he's going to have over a week at his house. Keuchel last year when he won the Cy Young was 20-8 with a 2.48 ERA, 232 innings pitched. And he just kept mowing them down the whole year. Very consistent. Then got into the postseason. He won the wild card game, pitched well, and he won Game 3 of the division series, pitched well.
I think it was the first time he ever pitched in New York and beat the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. The first pitch strike to Valencia is kind of maybe an indication. You could look at this game, this day, almost like the final game of the regular season, you know, and everybody's going to be leaving. It's just a matter of how badly you want the win, and the umpire is going to widen his strike zone. And I was told yesterday that strike zones of umpires now, you can take a ball, complete baseball on the outside and inside of the plate, and that extends it considerably, and that's still considered a good call by the home plate umpire on balls and strikes.
1-2 pitch, down and away.
So Eddie Montague, if you happen to be watching, we'll discuss it when we get back to it.
If that's the case, I got to talk to Eddie.
Eddie's probably across the bay, though, as he is in the Bay Area, but Eddie Montague, one of the good ones, and one of the umpiring supervisors.
And Valencia swings and misses, and that's how the top of the first comes to an end. So a hit to right or left for the A's, and Sean Manaea is ready to roll. Runner in the top of the first, and the Astros, their lineup looks like this today. George Springer back in the leadoff spot. Marwin Gonzalez at first. Jose Altuve is going to DH for the second time in this series. Then Correa at short, Gomez in center, Valbuena at third. Gaddis will catch, Danny Wirth at second. Jake Marisnick is your left fielder.
Sean Manaea is the starting pitcher today, and final start before the All-Star break. His first start in the big leagues was against the Houston Astros, 5+ innings. It was an A's victory. He got a no decision, but Sean Manaea coming off a start against the Twins in Minnesota, in which he lost the game. That was that horribly late game played, rain delay. New start this afternoon. Twins had another rain delay last night in Arlington, Texas, that lasted a long time, so they're kind of in the rain mode. But Sean Manaea facing an aggressive team, and see how much more he uses his changeup and slider today.
1-1 the count to Springer. Springer, Gonzalez, and Altuve here in the bottom of the first. Right back to Manaea, who grabs it. He'll underhand to first, one away. A's defense today looks like this. Davis, Crispin, Smolinski in the outfield. Valencia, Simeon, Lowry, Alonso on the infield. McBride is your catcher. So Stephen Vogt getting the day off, and Josh Reddick getting the day off. So McBride gets a start in this series.
Stephen Vogt, of course, great interview post-game yesterday. He was staying at A Cup. He said, man, I'm glad we won. He said, I would have hated to go on and talk about the All-Star game and losing the game, but there's the battery from yesterday. Did a great job, and Kendall Graveman picking up his 5th win. Stephen Vogt, 3 hits.
It was a good, I mean, entertainment value in this series. Been good games.
Yeah.
Right down to the late innings.
We were talking to the guys back in the studio about what Stephen Vogt said about A's fans should be happy with the pitching staff of the Oakland A's, especially the young starters. Saw Jeff Luhnow, the general manager of the Astros, and I said, good luck. And he said, you trade all your starters, we'll have a better time. So even the opposition recognizes the A's have a good starting staff. And there are a couple on the other side of their veteran catcher, Stephen Vogt. Daniel Mington along with Graveman. Pitching, that's what it's all about. Every club wants it, and especially as the trading deadline approaches the end of this month, there will be a lot of teams in contention looking for starting pitching.
Well, it's just nice for the A's to have 5 guys to can go through the rotation.
That's exactly right, and that's important. I mean, you look at teams that happy to have 3 and struggle with 4 and 5. The A's can run 5 out there every day with a chance to win. And they're only going to get better.
2-2 the count to Marwin Gonzalez. Gonzalez at 256. 6 home runs and 24 RBIs. Swing and a miss. Good fastball from Manaea.
Kendall Graveman yesterday picked up his 5th win, but an outstanding performance. Perfect with 4 2/3 innings. And this was a good fastball inside. Another fastball. 11 ground ball outs. Good defense by Ladendorf at 3rd. And how about this play by Marcus Semien up the middle with the runner on. Semien quick release. And as Ron Washington said, we've been working on that. Nice double play turn here. 4-6-3. So all around a good outing, and for Ryan Dull to save the game for Kendall Graveman. He gets to relax today before heading back to Alabama for the All-Star break and enjoy the 4 days. He's concerned this morning that his golf clubs weren't on. Got to have the golf clubs. His pitchers love to play golf.
Yes, they do. Quick 0-2 to Jose Altuve.
Altuve, every bit of him is good, and he's not tall in stature, but man, he is big when it comes to playing the game of baseball. And I think the American League is perfect with the DH because this allows Altuve to get off his feet for a game but keep his hot bat in the lineup.
Well, he certainly is getting a half a day off today, but the amount of time he spends digging that hole in the batter's box, that makes me tired.
You want to throw a shovel down to it, right?
Yeah, it's like Little League, you know, where everybody puts their foot in that same spot, and it's about 4 inches deep. Valencia juggles it, throws, not in time. Like the ball may have come up on Valencia a little bit. He did not field it clean.
Well, just checking to see if Bob Melvin was going to take a look at it. It was one of those by DJ Rayburn that just waited the last instant, and there it came up and in the cradled, and a couple of crow hops, and by that time, really, no need to check it, I guess, because it looked like he was across the bag when Valencia finally unloaded it. So what could have been and perhaps should have been the 3rd out is getting the man on base who can steal, and that's one of the issues. Sean Manaea.
So they're saying it's an error. That breaks the streak, huh?
So it does. 15 in a row.
That's too bad. A's had not made an error in 15 games. That's quite a stretch. That's an Athletics record.
But I will hold on because Altuve or somebody will call the press box. But first pitch hitting by Correa, and all of a sudden first and second.
First error in 15 games. Again, longest streak in Oakland history. So that comes to an end unless there is a change, but I don't know that that'll happen.
Well, it shouldn't, because in looking at the replay, which was a great replay, it showed the ball coming up, and infielders, and coincidentally it was Valencia working with Ron Washington on the side this morning on his fielding. So Sean Manaea now in trouble. Try to get out in the first inning
as he faces Carlos Gomez. Gomez swings wildly and he missed it. So here's the play again.
Infielders are taught to make an adjustment, and when it did come up, it did cradle it, and probably the one thing was the double crow hop, and maybe he had to do it to get a good grip. But when the ball is bobbled with somebody who is as fast as Altuve, you almost have to put it in your hand and throw it regardless of the grip.
Simeon charges, flips to second side, retired. So a hit and an error, 2 runners left for the Astros. Second inning coming up, no score. Ace Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by AAA. Get a free Ace cap with the new AAA membership. Visit a participating AAA branch by August 30th. Restrictions apply. Sometimes that's how we felt after the game on Friday night.
Yeah.
After that was Ray and I walking home after the game on Friday night when Valbuena hit the home run. We told you we usually talk about the game. As you can see, we were face down.
That's it. Good. How do they get up? You know, they're face down and then all of a sudden they pop right up. So it's got to be a technique.
Right. We got up, right?
Yeah.
We're okay. Nice play by Lenny Worth. Throws out Chris Davis. So Worth with the shift on. Ball was right over the head of Keuchel. So one away here in the top of the second inning, and Billy Butler will hit. So all-star game Tuesday night, home run derby tomorrow night in San Diego. Most of the players around the big leagues will just take the 4 days off. Sounds like the A's. And it is nice to open at home in the second half. If you open on the road the second half, you really kind of lose maybe a half a day, right? Because take the Astros, for instance. The Astros open in Seattle on Friday night, so they're going to have to fly Thursday.
Right. And work out Thursday night, I think they said.
And so for the A's open at home against the Blue Jays, and they'll have an early workout 1 o'clock on Friday. That one's belted left center field and deep. Marisnik, Gomez, and it's off the wall. Gomez picks it up. He fires it back in, and the tie got him. Now, the obvious thing here is you're going to talk about Butler's speed, but you got to give Carlos Gomez some credit.
Yeah.
He played it perfectly off the wall and spun around and made a great throw.
And you know, it's not as if Billy Butler doesn't run hard. He's just not fast. And this ball, like you said, played perfectly, and that's the home field advantage coming off the wall. Gomez, a perfect throw to second, waiting for the throw with a short hop was Worth, and he applies the tag. And it really hit the lower part. If it hit the chain link fence, it would have come off the wall differently, but it hit the lower part, and a strong but a short hop, and handled nicely. Worth did a very good job, had the ball waiting, but he handled the short hop also.
So give Butler a single, thrown out 8-4. And here's Smolinski.
This is always critical. It's almost like a catcher catching a short hop. Worth had to do it, although probably more accustomed to doing it at second base, but he had the ball waiting after he caught it, and he's denied of an extra base hit.
Got a Gold Glove, Carlos Gomez. And he played it nicely off the wall. Smolinski at .313, 4 homers, 16 RBIs. He's 4 for 8 in his career against Dallas Keuchel. Taps that one left side. Valbuena has it. Side retired. So a nice defensive play by Carlos Gomez. Throws out Billy Butler, and the A's do not score in the second. And the Astros. That looks like the seats way out in right center field, deep right center field.
I think next year we may see that extended over.
Okay.
Tal's Hill's gone.
So Tal's Hill is going to be.
It was, yeah. I think they started a little bit earlier this year. Even if the Astros make postseason, I was told that it kind of caught up to them last year when they played in October. So Tal's Hill was supposed to come down last year, but that whole area to the left of that area we just showed up in the grassy area, that was supposed to be restaurant tiered, and so should be pretty nice to add a nice little restaurant or some sort of a establishment up there.
Down the right field line, broken bat. Smolinski can't get it. So quite a series for Luis Valbuena. That is his 7th hit so far.
And Adam was at the 10th broken bat in the series.
There's been a bunch.
Adam's got the total lumber cracked for the series. So Adam stat man up here doing a good job, and noted that 9 before this game, so Valbuena just made it 10. There's a lot of lumber being broken.
I don't think we've ever had a stat man count broken bats.
No, that's a new stat, Adam. Thank you, buddy.
Kind of a lumber expert.
Yeah.
Speaking of lumber, Gaddis out at second, on to first. Not in time. So Gaddis goes after the first pitch. And it's a fielder's choice. Valbuena off the bases.
Yeah, he was lumbering down the line, but the big lumberjack. They had the Evan Gaddis gnome. He said, man, does that look bad or what? I said, hey, that's pretty special. But he avoided double play. Remember, 11 triples last year for Evan Gaddis. So once he gets moving, he can motor. Just kind of cruised down the line at first, knowing it was not going to be doubled up. Nice young man. Guys like that, you want to be nice to them because you don't want to get them angry.
Yeah, and he has not been nice to the A's the last couple of years.
No, he's not.
Here's Danny Worth playing second base.
I want to say there was a time where I thought his name was mentioned about being an athletic coming to the A's. And strong man that he is, but the fact that he's catching now, he and Jason Castro sharing the duties.
A little bit outside, 2-0 to Worth.
Now the Twins game from Manaea at Target Field gave up back-to-back home runs to Vargas and then first pitch to Kepler, the left-handed hitter who we're all impressed with his swing. But I don't think Sean threw enough or a lot of sliders and changeups in that start. And he's already thrown. Got Gomez on a changeup for the force out the end last inning.
Break down a home and road. 6 earned runs in 5 innings in that start in Minnesota.
As you pointed out, the start in Boston, 2 2/3, 8 earned runs, and that inflated his earned run average on the road.
Major league debut against these Astros.
Yeah. As we talked also, when you have a bunch of young pitchers and get in a pitch at this level with not a lot of minor league experience, I mean, they're learning kind of on the job here and facing major league pitchers, which that in itself is a major experience.
Yeah, and Maitland, not a lot. Right? Maitland was drafted in 2014. Sean Manaea, not a lot.
And Rich Hill was a reliever.
You know what? And even, quite frankly, Kendall Graveman, before he came to the A's, he had not been in the minor leagues very long with the Blue Jays. Strike 3 called on the inside corner with the runner going.
Well, he should have thrown. McBride should have thrown. Just the fact that the hitter was walking across. Here's the debut. That was back on April the 29th, and all the family and friends watching the man with the long hair, who essentially taken the hair and cut it a little bit, but he had some good pitches working and went 5+ innings, 4 hits and 4 runs. And Sean Manaea with no decision, but a good outing in his major league debut.
I mean, I'm just looking at the innings for Sean Manaea right last year in the minor leagues. 73 innings.
Yeah.
The year before that, 121 innings. Those are his only 2 seasons in the minor leagues. So that is not a lot of minor league innings. Remember, there used to be an old thought process of as far as minor leaguers go.
Now watch, look right there. See, Worth walked across the plate. All McBride had to do was throw, hit him in the back. That's interference. That would have been an out because he did interfere with McBride, who did not throw. And by the way, yes, the first stolen base. You mentioned 11 triples, and he was going. But you know, in that situation, when you have a hitter who takes strike 3 and walks across the plate as you're starting to throw, make contact, throw the ball, do something. But he held it, and at that point, the umpire can't do anything.
So 1-1 the count to Jake Marisnick. Marisnick at 186 with a home run. But as I was saying about the innings pitch, I think it used to be, and it's not a rule. It's just sort of kind of a thought process. But hey, try to get a pitcher 500 minor league innings.
That's right. And a hitter 800 to 1,000 at
at least, yeah,
if not more. But I mean, that's 2 full years at the minor league level.
But as far as getting 500 innings from a top prospect now in the minor leagues, if their stuff's good enough to get people out at the big league level, they're going to get to the big leagues.
Well, let's put it this: if they're good enough, they'll get here, whether they get the major league hitters out or not.
Well, that's true,
right? Because I mean, if they're pitching well at the minor league level and they have a good arm, they're going to come here. Unless they're on a staff where you have a team with an established staff of pitchers, both starters and relievers, and some starters will come up and go to the bullpen to limit their innings but get their feet wet.
One and two. Swing and a miss. Good fastball from Manaea. So he's got 3 strikeouts in 2 innings. Runner stranded for the Astros. We're headed to the 3rd. No score. A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Black Bear Diner. Feed your inner bear. Yeah, I mean, that looks good right there, right? That looks really good. You can get that at Black Bear Diner.
That looks good.
That's like one order at Black Bear Diner.
Well, if Adam was really good stat man, he'd be down there buying some of that stuff right now.
You're right.
That does look good. Oh, there's baseball.
Oh, that's right. So Keuchel facing Alonso. Alonso swings and misses.
You know, the one thing about Keuchel, and the A's are going to experience it, they already know it. There's not one pitch that he will rely on. He uses all of his pitches throughout a game. And for Keuchel with Evan Gattis, who with the Braves caught a lot, not so much with the Astros, but you'd have to think that Keuchel's kind of going to call his own game.
Alonso lifts one high to left field. Marisnick in front of the wall. He's going to have enough room to make the catch. So Alonso took a shot at the Crawford boxes. Comes up a little short. Last year, Dallas Keuchel made 3 starts against the A's. 1-1 with a very fine 1.14 ERA. Let's see. He pitched a couple times at the Coliseum. Got a no decision and a loss. I'm looking at the no decision. And your memory is much better than I, Ray, but it says 4/24, 2015. Astros win 5-4. Keuchel goes 9 innings, 2 hits, no runs.
11 innings, that's right. That was the Kazmir Keuchel.
And then it got a little weird in extra innings, right?
Well, that's the one that Reddick hit the ball to left center, and the overthrow tried to score, which would have been the winning run, but was thrown out at the plate.
And then it went into extra. Yeah. That was in extra innings, right?
It was 11 innings. Yeah, 5, 4, and 11.
So he ended up with a no decision, obviously, with Keuchel.
Actually, Gonzalez had a 2-run double that would have given him the win. Then Reddick in the bottom of the inning hit a 2-run pinch double and then tried to score on the overthrow and was thrown out. So that's why he got a no decision.
2-2 the count to Matt McBride. McBride 5 hits and 24 at bats so far this year with a couple of RBIs. Slider got him swinging.
The 17th annual A's Root Beer Float Day, supported in part by Dexam, Dryers Ice Cream, Whole Foods Market, and Zevia, set for Tuesday, July the 19th, with proceeds again benefiting JDRF. Among this year's guest scoopers are A's outfielder Sam Fold and Alexi Melvin, who both have type 1 diabetes, along with other A's players, coaches, and local celebrities. Fans in attendance will be served refreshing root beer floats for $3 each. Sugar-free floats will be available. Admission is free with a game ticket.
What's great about Root Beer Float Day is I get to work next to you, Ray, and everybody wants to take a picture with you. So I just stand there. It's great. It's awesome. My line, it's nobody. Ray's line,
yeah, right.
Everybody.
Everybody says that, nobody shows.
It's always a fun afternoon. Us announcers, Vinny and Ken Korak, they go down there and shovel ice cream.
Shooty.
Yeah, Shooty will be there.
Showed off his pipes.
Keuchel, nice play. Throws to first, got him. Heck of a play by Dallas Keuchel. If he doesn't get it, it may be an infield hit for Coco Crisp. Back-to-back gold gloves for Dallas Keuchel, and this is why. This is a good play.
He might have just won his third. Because you're right, if it gets by him, Correa with his strong arm probably is not going to throw out the speedy Coco Crisp. But I think of Jim Cott 16 gold gloves.
On the right field line, Smolinski into the corner, and it's just fine.
In fact, Mike Mussina won a lot. Kenny Rogers won a lot. But this, for Dallas Keuchel, follows through, able to field his position and kind of go off to the right. And remember, the mound starts to decline after the top, and he jumps and comes up with it and has a very strong arm to be able to finish the deal. It's a good play. People down the left field corner pulling the beards.
Yep. 0-1 to George Springer. Springer bounced back to Manaea in the first. Springer was not in the starting lineup yesterday. Snapped a 112 game in the lineup streak, which is a pretty good number. He did play yesterday. Came in and pinch ran. There was he pinch ran right before the Carlos Gomez at bat.
Right, exactly.
And there was a couple questions today up here in the press box, which us press folks do, kick things around. But any thought of not pinch running Springer, but instead hitting Springer for Carlos Gomez?
A much more disciplined, even though aggressive swinger hitter, but he's a little bit more not as aggressive as Carlos Gomez. You can score him in the ground with changeups, and that's what Dahl did yesterday with the slider.
No swing.
You see his bat stayed close to his body. Velcro on the bat, Velcro on the shoulder, and he follows through. And it's a good call by the umpire, because you know the bat goes quickly, but it stays with him as he followed through. And that's why a home plate umpire, I think, should always defer to a corner umpire, because it cannot see the bat when the body moves that much.
2-2 pitch, hit high and foul.
And I'm going to go back. I made a statement about McBride not throwing with Worth. Let's emphasize that McBride has not been a catcher his whole career. He's played multiple positions. He's only started catching quite a bit. He didn't catch hardly at all in spring training. And then in Colorado, he's playing the outfield. So while there are things that a catcher every day would do, Ron Hansen was great, Jason Kendall, these guys were catchers. And they would see a hitter walk across the plate, and they'd run all over him and get interference. So there are things that a catcher, and I'm sure McBride would learn from that. Bob Melvin, the skipper, former catcher, might say something. But, you know, defense of him, he's catching, doing a good job. But he has played a lot of other positions, probably more than actually behind the plate.
Yeah, there's probably a few things going through his mind.
Oh, really?
Springer hits it hard. Simeon backhand to first, not in time. It's too bad, because Simeon, he just stumbled a little bit, and I think if the stumble does not happen, he probably gets Springer.
The fact that the ball bounced twice, right there is where he stumbled, had to go down. He threw it quickly, one hop, two hops. The second one was the one that took a little bit longer to get there. And while Alonso did a good job stretching, and Marcus doing the correct backhand, but when he kind of went down a little bit, it took a little bit extra time to get the throw over. And remember, he fell on his right shoulder, so that may have affected a little bit. 4 days probably will be great for him to do nothing. And Wash said he's not going to be out hitting ground balls to him on his off days.
No, we're not going to make Marcus do that. So here's Gonzalez, who takes down and in. Gonzalez struck out swinging in the first. 3 strikeouts for Sean Manaea. That one queued up the first base line, and it's called a foul ball. I guess in front of the bag, it's the home plate umpire's call.
Exactly. But it looked like first base umpire DJ Rayburn called it. Let's see if we can see if Rayburn at first base. I think it's really up to whoever has the best shot. And yeah, if you see Rayburn lift his arm, maybe that was after Vic Carapazza. We'll see what Carapazza does. He's out in front, but Rayburn definitely called it at first, and that's maybe what Gonzalez saw.
So 1-1 the count. Altuve to follow. Springer has a huge lead. I think we officially have this year's pace of game violator, and his name is Marwin Gonzalez. Seriously? On a throw to first, he had to adjust his batting glove.
Some habits you can't break. He's standing out again.
He's 6 feet out of the batter's box on a throw to first.
Sign's not changing either. Gary Pettit's not even given a sign.
Doesn't mean we don't like him as a player. He's a pace game violator.
And he doesn't like Manaea's changeup either. Struck out on his first at bat.
I mean, look at him this walk. I mean, just come on. I blame the umpire.
Yeah.
You got to say something.
Yeah.
Manaea is just standing there, ready to pitch. Springer runs, and the ball's fouled right at home plate. Springer had a good jump, and he had that big lead.
Good changeup. This time, Gonzalez just got a little bit on the foul tip as he takes a stroll to think about what he's going to get now. And Springer going on first move, and he was heads down all the way, and that's dangerous with 2 strikes on the hitter because the hitter has to swing. And we see sometimes where guys will look back unnecessarily with 2 outs, but with nobody out and 2 strikes on the hitter. A line drive could have been an easy double play.
I think it's the biggest lead I've seen a hitter or a base runner get this year.
And you're right, Kai, but I think what Springer is showing Manaea is that I know your move. Yep. And I'm getting the big lead, and you can think about throwing over, but I know if you are. And Tommy actually went back, so a good quick move.
Smolinski should get there. He will. Fair territory. So Gonzalez is retired.
You know, the one thing we've talked about with Manaea, while he does not have an aggressive throw to first base, he does throw, number 1. But number 2, he does not lose anything when he has a slide step to the plate. I mean, he can get just as much on all of his pitches with the slide step as he does when he lifts his leg. And that time, surprisingly, had Springer going back to first base, and that's all you want to do as a left-handed pitcher.
Base stealers 2 for 4. So 4 attempts. Really not a lot. And the Sean Manaea pickoff has come a long way.
Exactly.
It was an issue earlier in his minor league days, but much better now. Altuve takes a strike. Altuve reached on the air by Valencia with 2 outs in the first.
Manaea at that time showing what you do when you freeze a runner. You just stand there. And until the hitter calls timeout, which Altuve did not, you try to hold, freeze the runner, get him flat-footed, and then make the pitch. And there's another.
Valencia fires to first. Got him. Well, Valencia, he had to get a lot on that throw, and he did.
Well, there's 1 out bunting for a base hit. They may give him a sacrifice, which we have seen that, but his 3rd sacrifice, but that was a great play. Fortunately, Manaea got out of the way, and Valencia able to barehand the ball as Altuve made the final jump at the bag, and just enough time. Good stretch. Alonso does a great job stretching at first base. Give him a sacrifice. That's horrible. You're batting for base hit. You got to know that. I mean, it's a win-win for a hitter. If he gets a hit, it's a hit. But otherwise, they give him a sacrifice with 1 out. He's not trying to sacrifice.
2 outs for Carlos Correa, who takes a little bit outside. Correa had a base hit in the first. Correa in this series is 3 for 13 with a home run. Outside corner, good pitch by Manaea.
He's got the good backdoor slider to the right-handers. Also throws the slider hard. to the back foot of the right-handers. Good changeup, snaky fastball.
Swing and a miss. So a couple of off-speed pitches and then the fastball at 93 miles an hour.
A couple of looks back at the runner at second, and then the elevated fastball. See some big swings from some of the Astros hitters.
Checked his swing, and he went around. So Correa, a little surprised by that call. Manaea will take it. He's got 4 strikeouts, and we're a scoreless game. Coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. It's a good look here. Most home runs by shortstop in Oakland A's history. Of course, Miguel Tejada, the top 4. Bert Campaneris hit 22 in 1970. Right there at the bottom is Marcus Semien. And we're only halfway through the season. He's got 19 home runs. And for the Athletics, this is game number 89. How about that? That's great. 19 home runs, 46 RBIs. Last year, 15 home runs, 45 RBIs in the full season. 89 games for the A's. He's been in the starting lineup 89 times. A manager's dream. You could start a middle infielder.
Yeah.
Start your shortstop every day. Not have to worry about him.
That's right.
That's beautiful.
That is great. And for Simmons, he says, I got 4 days coming off starting tomorrow. Well, another 2-strike hit Friday night. His 19th home run. Watch him release the top hand. That's just fastball inside. And remarkably, on 2 strikes, he is just swinging unbelievably and showing a lot of power with the 2 strikes. Trying to do it again right now.
Keuchel has 3 strikeouts. He's given up a couple of hits in the first 3 innings. Tapped up the third base line, and it's just foul. The A's are 38-50 as they wrap up this first half. They're 4-5 versus the Astros. They'll be back here in Houston the end of August.
Astros, the Coliseum on a week from Monday. I think of the next homestand, Blue Jays, Astros, and Rays. I think the 10-game homestand. So a lot against Houston Astros, a good club. postseason last year.
Now there's the homestand. Blue Jays 3, Astros 3, Rays 4. So home for a nice long time. That one's belted to left, sinking, and coming in is Marisnik, and he grabs it. I think that one had a little topspin to it.
Pretty good at bat by Marcus Semien. Took a couple of low curveballs and got a pitch up, and well, it did have some topspin. It came down quickly, and Marisnik, a good outfielder, knows how to play the Crawford boxes. Able to take a base hit away from Semien.
So with one out, Lowry steps in. So in the second half of the season, the A's have 73 games. They'll play 38 at home. They'll play 35 away. But the interesting part, Ray, so they have 9 games left with the Astros. They have 12 games left with the Texas Rangers. So they will have a big say in what happens toward the top of that AL West, where the Rangers right now a 6.5 game lead over the Astros. But 12 left with Texas, 9 down there in Arlington. A's have yet to go to Arlington.
And the Rangers had Kyle Roche starting last night.
Carlos Gomez waits, 2 outs. And that is what awaits the A's in the second half of this season. And just a few more home games than road games. So a 6.5 game lead for the Rangers. The Mariners 9.5. And then the A's and the Angels. And for Houston, they're a couple games back of the second wild card team. The 2 wild card teams right now in the American League, Boston and Toronto. They're 10 games over 500, both those teams. Astros are 6 games over, so that's the 2-game deficit.
And the one thing the A's can hope, and while it's a long shot, but they have had prior success against the Rangers. And with that many games remaining, especially down in Arlington, where the A's seem to play well, even in the home park of the Rangers. See that how that works out this year. It will be hot, we know that, and it will not be like this, which these 4 games have been indoors. Maybe eventually in Arlington, Texas, that'll be an indoor stadium if they get a new one. Good look here with the glass in left field, letting the sunshine in, the light in.
Twins and the Rangers will get underway in just a little bit down in Arlington. Twins have a chance to take 3 out of 4 down in Texas. Liner heads up down there. Oh, he's a little scary.
Just use your beard to stop the ball. Some of them have removed their beards, the fake beards.
3-2 to Valencia. Foul back to the screen.
His lineup only Valencia's hit a home run. He's had a couple off of Keuchel. One last year as a member of the A's.
Couple of homers, couple of doubles against Keuchel.
But he got a 3-2 changeup at his first at bat, or 2-2 changeup, and struck out.
May get another one. Well, it was a fastball and it was away, and Valencia walks. So that's the first walk issued by Keuchel, and now he'll face Chris Davis. No score here in the top of the 4th inning.
Yeah, it looked like that 3-2 pitch to Valencia. First of all, Keuchel knows that he's hit a couple of home runs. Number 2, 3-2. He's not going to give in to him. Tried to get him to pull a fastball away. Didn't offer at it. Put him on. Go fresh with Chris Davis.
Davis grounded out to second in the second.
I see Chris Davis hit one of his big shots. One of the ones that jumps off his bat, and just see how quickly it would get off of the glass, or maybe the oranges up on the track.
It's jammed that time. Davis has had a pretty quiet series. He's 2 for 15 with 5 strikeouts. So maybe he's closing in on a hot streak somewhere. He's a streaky player.
There's the wall there. Crawford boxes down low above the out-of-town scoreboard.
Worth backs up to get a good hop, throws out Davis, side retired. So bottom of the 4th coming up. It'll be Gomez, Valbuena, and Gaddis still score. A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by your Bay Area Hyundai dealers. Great deals on amazing cars are going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. Here's downtown Houston. Not a nice day, warm and humid.
The humid part, I would think hot though instead of warm. It's hot.
Yeah, you're right. It's not warm. Warm is comfortable.
Comfortable, exactly.
It
That's
is
a good word. Yeah.
very, very humid. Carlos Gomez, big swing. Hits a little pop-up down the right field line. Smolensky, a nice running catch.
Well, he had a long run to get it, too. What a long run and not even out of breath. That's not fair. That's how good a shape he's got to be in. I mean, he was, you don't even see him, and he's all of a sudden comes out of nowhere and a sprint. And this, to me, is one of the hardest things, to sprint that far and then be able to not have your head bouncing all over the place. I see outfielders work on it all the time. But try to keep your head steady. He's got it steady, watching the ball all the way, and makes a nice running catch into foul territory. Excellent play.
One out for Valbuena, who shows bunt and takes a strike. Valbuena had a base hit in the 2nd inning. Astros have had at least one base runner in every inning. They had a couple in the 1st, one in the 2nd, one in the 3rd. Sean Manaeus got out of jams when he's gotten in a jam. So 1-2 to Valbuena. About the second half for the A's, the second half for the Astros. They have 9 games left with the first place Texas Rangers. So like you said, Ray, they have to figure out a way to beat them. And Valbuena late on that fastball swings and misses.
Well, the beloved worldwide phenomenon of Hello Kitty is back. Add to your collection with this year's version of Hello Kitty, dressed to the nines in full A's catcher's gear at the Saturday, July 16 game against the Blue Jays. That's next Saturday. 15,000 fans can pick up and hug their very own Hello Kitty bobblehead. Visit athletics.com/tickets today. Get my granddaughter Madeline one of those.
We'll get her a couple.
She'll like the Hello Kitty.
In case one breaks. She's going to say, Grandpa. Hello, Kitty's a catcher just like you.
That's right.
1-1 to Gaddis. But the Astros 1-9 versus the Rangers this year.
Yeah, that'll be nine big games. Last year, the Astros had the lead. The Rangers took off the second half, and kind of where the Astros are right now is where the Rangers were last year. They won the division.
6 of those 9 games against the Rangers will be here. The Astros 8-1 against the Angels, so that has not been a problem. But scratching their head about that Rangers season series so far, at least. Astros will come to Oakland twice in the second half. The Rangers struggling some. They've lost 8 out of 11 heading into the break. Valencia backhands, strong throw and a good one across the diamond, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Sean Manaea. 5th inning coming up. Pitcher's duel, no score. Fan Friday coming up at the Coliseum this Friday against the Blue Jays. Get a ticket in our value deck behind home plate. Get great authentic A's gear. You're going to get a cheer card and a $6 food and drink voucher, all for one great price. Best deal in Bay Area baseball is CSN's Authentic Fan Friday. A's and the Toronto Blue Jays. We've heard of them.
Yes.
They're at it again, huh?
Yes, they are.
Making their move. No Jose Bautista. He's on the disabled list. I was looking at the Blue Jays. They've won 7 out of 8, so they're making their move. They're only 2 back in the East. And much like last year, although last year it was August and September when they just went crazy. This year they're getting hot a month earlier than they did last year, on their way to winning the division title in the AL East.
Got 50 wins already, which is very good. And actually, I think they played 4 more games than whoever's in second. They're showing them in third, but they played 4 more. There's the rainouts. And they don't get rained out in Toronto.
Yeah, you're right. More than Boston. That's 4 more games than Boston. Yeah. Worth, second baseman over on the left side of the bag, throws out Billy Butler 1 out. So there's the East, and it's getting tight. Orioles with a 2-game lead over Boston and Toronto. Yankees at 7.5 back.
Isn't that strange to see 50 for Baltimore, 50 for Toronto, Boston with 48, but in second.
That's right.
But it's percentage points, but it's the 4 games differential.
And those are the 2 wildcard teams, Boston and Toronto.
And actually, Baltimore's played 4 fewer games as well. So those are either makeups, doubleheaders, something. And that's where the Blue Jays could pick up.
Orioles leading the Angels 2-1 after 5 innings in Baltimore. Tim Lincecum pitching that game for the Angels. Lincecum was good against the A's in his first start, but has not been good since.
Because Joe Smith will never live down balking in the tying run when he came to the stretch and dropped the ball.
Yeah.
That was, I mean,
I did not see it. I read about it. Did you see it?
I saw it, and it's.
He wasn't twirling the ball in his hand.
He actually had the ball in his glove. He brought his hands up, and as he took the hands down, the ball dropped, and he just went almost like he wanted to cry. But I've seen it, and we've seen it where the guys twirling the ball in their behind their back, and you wonder, man, if you drop the ball, it's a balk.
Worth in the right spot when Smolinski's at. So a very hard hit ball, but playing Danny Worth right behind second base, and he's had a lot of action today.
Boy, he has, and that's frustrating. That's Josh Reddick did it the other night with Correa catching the ball, the shortstop. But this time Worth, the second baseman, right behind the back, and yes, this justifies the shift. I mean, this he took a couple of double pumps and the crow hops and waited for his first baseman, who was off the bag also, to get to the bag, and then had to make a hard throw.
2 outs for Yonder Alonso. And that's fair ball. Gonzalez waits. Nice big hop. And that's an 8-pitch inning for Dallas Keuchel. So we're going to the bottom of the 5th. Still no score. Jeff Bagwell spent his entire 15-year career with the Houston Astros. He was a 4-time All-Star. He won the MVP in 1994. He was Rookie of the Year in 1991, and his number 5 is retired by the Astros. He finished with a career batting average of .297, 2,314 hits, and 449 career home runs. So Jeff Bagwell, not in the Hall of Fame, but some people think he should be.
Maybe next year. You saw Berkman. He was one of the killer bees, the 3, Biggio, Bagwell, Berkman. And of course, you didn't mention in that Larry Anderson. He was traded from Boston for Larry Anderson, and they took this prospect named Jeff Bagwell. And what a career he had. There's the statue. And I tell you, one of the only players you'd ever see who'd be so strong, it's like he was crouching as he hit. And you had to have strong legs to do that. And to come up out of the crouch and hit home runs as well as he did. And Craig Biggio thinks his good buddy should be in the Hall of Fame, and we shall see. And next year's is getting closer, I guess, to the 75% of votes.
And they had some good teams. Astros. So you decide, is he a Hall of Famer? Got a Gold Glove.
A .297 batting average, 449. Of course, anymore. I mean, one time 400, but Billy Williams, a Hall of Famer, hit 400, and that didn't hurt him getting a Hall of Fame. But the RBI driving in 1,529.
And he was right in the middle of really, for the Astros, their best stretch of success.
Right.
From 1997 to 2005, a 9-year period, the Astros went to the postseason 6 times.
And the ultimate in 2005, but just did not get the ring.
3-2 pitch is line, base hit center field. So Danny Worth with the leadoff signal.
Really not a bad guy to fill in for Altuve at second base defensively, and doesn't really hurt you offensively either. Keeps Altuve's bat in the lineup. He did this a couple of days ago, coming in for defense and got a base hit up the middle. Actually drove in a run that made it to 7-4 on Friday night that the A's scored the 5 in the 9th.
So for the 3rd time in 5 innings, the Astros have their leadoff man on. This time it's Worth, and here's Marisnick. Valencia in a little bit, even with the bag. Outfield is straight away from Marisnick, who struck out in the 2nd inning. He tries to bunt. And again, the attempt was not that of a sacrifice bunt attempt. It looks like he's trying to bunt for a base hit.
Really trying to push it to the right side, and some guys were trying to drag the ball, which Altuve did, to the 3rd baseman, and Marisnick just trying to push it to the right side with the left-handed pitcher Manai, who falls a little bit towards 3rd base. Sometimes tough to recover in that area.
That time, kind of a more traditional sacrifice bunt attempt as he squared early. But either way, unsuccessful in both attempts.
A poor attempt, really, in this one. I mean, maybe that's why he was trying to push it, because he probably felt better trying to push it for a base hit and get the sacrifice if he did not get on.
Seems like the common mistake made when it comes to bunting, Ray, the guys square around, you get the bat out there, but they then either jab at it or pull the bat back too much. And what you really want to do is just leave the bat in the same spot. Kind of try to catch the ball with the bat.
Right. And bottom line, what you're saying, they don't work on it enough.
That's probably true, yeah.
When they take BP and they say, give me a couple of bunts, they're just going through the motions. Well, that's why pitchers work at it. But, you know, fielders or position players should also. And especially if you're hitting 9th. And I'm sure A.J. Hinch would like to stay out of the double play, turn it over with at least a runner or 2 on base.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner. So Manaya, a well-placed fastball. Marisnick strikes out for the 2nd time.
Well, good fastball inside. Manaya had 8 against the Twins that we showed in his last start against Minnesota Twins when he had 5, but he's getting up now. Marisnick, who had a check swing on a fastball outside in his first at bat, actually threw the ball by him, and this time fastball inside. And say when you don't get the bunt down and you strike out, that's even worse. That's the worst thing.
Springer towards short. Simeon has it. Shuffles to second for 1, and that's an easy double play. 6-4-3 double play, and that will do it for the Astros. 6th inning coming up. No score.
That's from 5:05 to 7:05 p.m. before the A's take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Each special ticket includes 2 pours, commemorative Pilsner glass, and a game ticket. Breweries scheduled to appear include Ballast Point, Drake's, Firestone Walker, Lagunitas, and more. Go to athletics.com/craftbeerfest to purchase tickets. Music always gets me, man. Music just is something about the beer fest.
Yeah, well, I
think of Wisconsin, you know?
I think the music helps you lose your concentration on. But I know what you're saying. What I'm saying is Matt McBride has a leadoff single.
Right, that's good. A dive by the third baseman. And right through the shortstop and the third baseman. So Matt McBride starting this afternoon under the glove there, and Eddie Carrera, even with a strong arm, had he caught it, was not going to throw him out. So Coco trying to keep the inning going, and against a very tough pitcher, Dallas Keuchel.
And of course, Keuchel, his specialty is a good sinker. So you know what he's looking for. Coco has bounced back to Keuchel twice. He's going to show bunt, and the pitch is a bit high.
You know, to your point about a sinker ball pitcher, how many times we talked about hit and running, you know, with a sinker ball, because if you hit the ball on the ground, Keuchel in 5 innings, 8 ground ball outs. 2 he's fielded off the bat of Coco.
That one bunted out front. Gaddis to first, and then they get crisp, so that is a sacrifice. But both teams playing small ball today. It's been a pitcher's duel so far.
Good bump by Coco Crisp, but you know the one thing impressive about Evan Gaddis, the catcher. At times a catcher will grab at the ball and it takes it, checks up, spins. He just calmly waited for it to stop and picked it up and used his strong arm, which he has a strong arm. But excellent bump by Coco. A couple of opportunities now with the runner in scoring position to get him in.
First chance is for Marcus Semien, who has struck out and hit a fly ball to left field.
And this will be the first time the A's have had a runner in scoring position. Billy Butler was thrown out at second, back in the second.
That's the ground ball percentage for Keuchel.
Curveballs that Semien laid off in his previous at bat before lining out to left field. Now Keuchel comes back with curveballs and struck Semien out on a curveball in the first inning. Back-to-back curveballs in this at bat. They say that Keuchel's not afraid to throw it.
Blocked by Gaddis.
As we remind you that Evan Gaddis went back to minor leagues. He DH'd all of last year. Catcher with Atlanta, but that's pretty good technique for someone who just relearned the catching position. A couple of weeks at the minor leagues.
So Semien behind in the count, 1-2. A broken bat, base hit left field. Here comes McBride. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's way off line to the backstop. And Semien to second, and the A's lead 1-0. So the broken bat ends up near shortstop. Semien ends up at second base, and the A's end up with a 1-0 lead.
Have you ever seen a ball hit that far on a broken bat, shattered bat? See the bat coming, the handle, and Marcus didn't know where the ball was. But you know, when it's a tight game, you're not surprised to see Ron Washington. This is catcher McBride, and really a good throw. Obviously way offline, but a good throw maybe gets McBride, but Wash was going to push the envelope a little bit considering it's a scoreless game. And sending McBride, and the throw by Marisnik, and not even a chance for Gaddis to retrieve it. The pitcher either. So good hit by Semien with a couple of strikes, plates the first run. Aggressive coaching by Ron Washington to get him in.
So that'll bring up Lowry, RBI 47 for Semien.
Boy, just the bat. It's amazing how far the bat went. The ball into the outfield. And watch this throw by Marisnik. See where McBride is, and with the throw so far offline. And maybe that's a result of not sacrificing last inning.
So 1-1 now to Lowry, who singled in the first, flied out to center in the fourth. So the A's now need another big hit. We know the Astros can come back. We have seen that in this series. All started with McBride's single.
And to your point again, very good point about the sacrifice by Coco Chris playing small ball. And these are the games that you have to be able to sacrifice. Marisnik could not, but Coco could. He's got a runner score position. Semien brings him in. So the difference right there is just getting a sacrifice down. Coco's second game since serving a suspension on Friday.
Missed again, and now it's 3-1. Valencia to follow. Simeon's been dancing around at second base, able to get a pretty good lead. That one tapped toward third. Valbuena cuts in front of Correa and throws out Lowry. So Simeon goes to third. So now 2 away.
Brent Strom, a trip to the mound where we look at this replay, and that is good play. First of all, Simeon seeing the slowness of the ball to get to third. And then with Valbuena coming in front of the shortstop. I'm talking to Brent Strom. He's talking about a Keuchel. He said, talking about a bulldog. He's talking to one right now. He said if he ever goes up to Keuchel in the 7th inning or 8th inning, he said, how do you feel? He said, don't ask me. I'm going back out. I mean, he never wants to not go to the mound. They have to forcefully take him out. And bring that up because they've had some pitchers in the past where they would just say in the 7th, I'm done. Keuchel's just the opposite. He never wants to leave the mound.
That's what you would want in your best pitcher, because other young pitchers will see that.
Great point. Yeah.
The 20-8 season last year, down numbers this year. You know, there's been a little talk about a slight velocity drop, which that happens to a lot of pitchers. It could be that just last year everything went the right way.
That's right. And especially if you're a 58% ground ball pitcher, maybe just a ground ball like the one that McBride hit.
Sure.
Last year it's caught, it's an out this afternoon. This year it's a base hit, scores a run. And now he's putting a little bit added pressure on Gaddis to block one of those off-speed pitches. And Simeon moving over to third base.
So 2-0 to Valencia, who has struck out and walked. He's 2 for 10 in the series. He's got great numbers in his career against Keuchel. So a 2-0 slider first drive. And I'm sure Keuchel's aware. And maybe he's pitching carefully to Valencia.
And as a hitter, you have to think the same way. You know your numbers against him. You know first base is open. You expand your strike zone. You be patient and let Chris Davis do it, who's hitting next.
One is rolled foul, so a 3-1 breaking ball. Very surprised if Valencia saw a fastball.
Right. Could be a dead fish change up outside, come back with a curveball. And if he gets him out, fine. If he doesn't, try to take care of Chris Davis. That's a fastball away.
Well, Valencia spoils that pitch. Now 80 pitches for Keuchel.
A fastball away. Look at the hole on the right side. I mean, that's the amazing thing.
That's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. But they figure throwing 90, 89, 90, 91, that he's not going to stay back like Lowry did in the first inning. He's trying to go out and get it.
And he misses low, so Valencia walks for the second time. So both walks by Keuchel today to Valencia, and here's Chris Davis. Chris Davis has grounded out twice. He's hit balls up the middle, but that's right where the second baseman Danny Wirth is playing. And he hits a high fly ball to right. Springer backing up. Springer waiting, and that will do it. So Davis is retired, but a run for the A's on the RBI single by Marcus Semien.
The Ford right choice, and for Sean Manaea, he's going against a very tough pitcher and a team, the Astros, and of course Dallas Keuchel, but 6 strikeouts for the left-hander. We mentioned his major league debut against the Astros, the Coliseum. Got a check swing there. Good strikeout, but 6 strikeouts. And not only that, but there was 7 ground ball outs. So that's a great combination for the tall left-hander as he takes a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pitch count is still good as he's been economical after the first couple of innings. Look at the first 3. After that, his last 2 have been great.
So pitch number 70 coming up. It'll be Gonzalez, Altuve, and Correa in the bottom of the 6th inning. First pitch down around the knees, first strike.
Was that low? No. Was that call? That's right.
Straight up defense for the A's against Gonzalez. And struck out and hit a fly ball to right field. New all-star pitcher was added today. It was not Ryan Dull. So I'll throw that out there quickly. Jose Quintana from the Chicago White Sox was named to the all-star team. Danny Salazar from the Indians will not pitch in the game. Salazar's a little soreness in his elbow, so he has said, I will attend, but I'm going to take the time off. So Salazar not going to pitch, and Jose Quintana, the left-hander, is now an all-star. Quintana, very good ERA, 6th best ERA in the American League. Got to play second fiddle to Chris Sale, but Quintana's pretty good.
That is Ryan Dull. You might not recognize him without the mustache and the shorter hair, of course, he's had all year, but he's growing a mustache and a little goatee. But after yesterday, and And maybe a slight disappointment because the numbers he has put up is not being named with all the replacements, but he should get a chance. Got a first save of the season yesterday. Got one last year, as we showed.
Simeon pops off his glove, and the Astros leadoff man will be aboard. So it's an E6, second error for the A's in this game.
You see where he's playing, and he had to charge in quickly, tried to circle around so he could have a good angle to throw, and could not come up with it cleanly. Ball got in his glove, it closed, but popped out right there. Watch him close the glove, actually towards the end, and just not able to put it cleanly into the pocket.
So here's Altuve, and he bunts Valencia. Bare hand throw in time to get to Altuve. Gonzalez made a big turn at second base. He's got to scramble back.
Again, Valencia with a bare hand throw, getting a speedy Altuve, who was bunting, sacrifice, which it would give it again, this time with nobody out. Let's put the potential tying run in the score position, but Manai getting out of the way as he did in the last at bat with Altuve, and a bare hand play by Valencia, and Gonzalez with Valencia making the play. Shortstop Simeon at second base. Actually, Manai, as he was going for the ball, should have continued on to third base.
So it'll be another sacrifice for Altuve, and I think a lot of teams would say, fine, if Jose Altuve wants to sacrifice twice, once in the third inning and once in the sixth inning, we'll let him do that. And granted, I think both times he is bunting for a hit.
Yeah, exactly.
And the point is, okay, well, if you get a hit, great. If you don't, you've still had a productive out. But the argument against that is Altuve's got 24 doubles, 2 triples, and 14 home runs. He has 40 extra base hits.
And so, as you're saying, there's a runner at first base in scoring position.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially in this park. Left-handed pitcher.
So
and twice, actually 3 times. The first time is a ground ball that Valencia couldn't handle. And, maybe in his case, he just doesn't feel comfortable with Manai.
Maybe not.
Who knows? I mean, he's bunted twice, and he's hitting over 340 coming into today's game.
So, I mean, it's one of those baseball arguments.
Yeah.
He had a productive out. He moved the runner into scoring position. But would you rather have the league's leading hitter swing the bat? Not once, but twice in this game.
And plus, he's in the third spot of the batting order, which typically is your best hitter, and one that you really don't expect to sacrifice to the bunt at all. So a lot of things that go into it, but right now, if one of the next 2 guys happens to get a base hit and ties the game, then it's a smart move. Sean Manai trying to prevent that.
Correa with a single and a strikeout. So 1-2 the count to the cleanup hitter. He's 3 for 14 in the series. Carlos Gomez is the on-deck hitter.
Sean Manai getting ready to pitch, make the pitch number 97, his most in his previous 11 starts before today.
Gonzalez getting a big lead at second base. Lowry's trying to hold him on a little bit, but at some point you got to cover your position.
Yeah. And it almost looks like Gonzalez is trying to distract Manai, figuring that he may not make a move to second base so he can get an extended lead, as we saw Springer at first, perhaps reading the move from Manai.
And that one's driven to right center. That's trouble. Coco, Smolinski, and Smolinski tracks it down. So Gonzalez toward third, and he'll make it there.
Sliced right back to Smolinski. Coco was not going to get to it. It's a quick pitch. Didn't even look at second. Fired the ball, elevated, and Correa, a good shot. But watch the ball slice back to Smolinski. Covered a lot of ground, and the ball came right back to him. So there's a huge second out. Coco definitely was not getting to it. But just the way the ball is hit, the corner outfielder is a right-hander. The ball will slice to the right fielder. A left-hander will slice on the left fielder. And that's why the ball straight away to center is the hardest for a center fielder, because it's straight. And now another aggressive hitter in Gomez.
Gomez 0 for 2. Man, you got to keep an eye on him trying to bunt. And Valencia playing right on the grass. Carlos Gomez had a big game on Wednesday before the A's got to town. He had a single, double, triple, and the Astros keep thinking he's got to get hot at some point. But then in this series, 0 for 13.
Can it be 0 for 14?
Valencia has it. Valencia straightens up, and that will do it. So Manaea again works out of the jam. Gonzalez stranded at third. We're headed to the 7th inning. 1-0 A's lead.
Live with the MLB.com at bat app. Stay up to the moment, any moment with game day, live game, video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet.
1-0 A's lead, 7th inning. So another tight ball game here. They've all been tight games. All 4 of them so far in this series. 10th meeting of the year between the A's and the Astros. Butler, Smolinski, and Alonso. That sinker is low.
It's kind of unique. Sometimes you see a pitcher, and Keuchel does it where he'll take his windup, and he never puts the ball in his glove after he removes it. Watch it right there. It's outside the glove. It's got the grip, but it's outside the glove. A lot of guys will keep the ball inside, then bring it out, but he kind of leaves it out there. Of course, he hides it well enough. They're never going to be able to pick up the grip. But whatever he's doing, since he jumped in the rotation in 13, he's been outstanding. Right there, the ball just stays out. Just watch as he winds up. See the ball in his glove, and watch this right there. He never puts it back in.
2-2 to Butler. Breaking ball, and Butler swings and misses. So that is 4 strikeouts.
This is the hard slider, and he goes back foot with it. And slider, slurve. He does not throw as many curves, although today he has, and I guess they consider that more of a slider. Regardless, good breaking pitch that Billy Butler, who singled off the wall in left center field. First at bat, thrown out at second. Since then, 0 for 2.
Smolinski has grounded out a couple times, once to second, once to third. Remember a game here early in the 2013 season. That was the first year the Astros were in the American League, and they were not very good. And the A's jumped on one of the Astros starters, knocked him out very, very early. And we didn't know much about Keuchel because it was their first year in the American League. And he came in out of the bullpen. If you remember that. And he pitched about 3-4 innings out of the bullpen. He was great.
He was, yeah.
And that was the first time we had seen him. I think it was an April game, maybe the first time we were ever at this ballpark.
Yeah, he's a kind of a journeyman until then. Yeah.
And I remember you and I saying, you know what? He had, after the series was over, the most impressive guy we saw was the guy that came out of the bullpen, Keuchel. And then he later in that year went into the rotation, and the rest is history, as they say. Now he's got Keuchel's corner now. But it was our first year here, and it was an early season game.
Yeah, April 6th and 16th, both against the A's here and in Oakland.
So we saw him early on.
3 innings each time, and 3 hits, but 1 run in those 6 innings. And then after that, in May, went in the rotation, at least against the A's.
Remember the A's that first year, they knocked Astros starters out early, like 4 games in a row. So Smolinski swings and misses. So back-to-back strikeouts here in the 7th inning from Keuchel, who's pitching well, but down 1-0. So this season, Astros lead 5-4. Last 42 meetings, the Astros lead 23-19. Early on, it was all about the A's. And again, this is the Astros' 4th year in the American League, moving from the National League Central to the American League West. It moved around a little bit. Remember in 1994 when they went to 3 divisions, they went from the NL West to the NL Central. The change in divisions is one thing. Changing leagues, that does not happen very often.
Well, and for
the Brewers did it.
Right, but you know, for the Astros, they move into the American League and they're in the central part of the United States. So when they go west, like they will the next trip, it will be 9 o'clock starts local time for the games in Seattle and Oakland.
And they're lucky because at least they have another division opponent in the same time zone with the Rangers. But if they didn't, then it would be really bad.
And I think that's why Major League Baseball at least wanted to put another one with the Rangers instead of moving the Rangers, which they probably wanted to go into the National League Central to have to at least avoid all the West Coast games starting late.
It may not seem like it should be a big issue, but it is a legitimate issue for a team. What time their TV games start, especially on the road. Playable for Springer. He backs up, now comes in, and he's got it. So good inning for Keuchel. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts. 7th inning stretch time coming up. 1-0. A's lead the Astros.
on CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
The A's Insider Podcast is live on CSNCalifornia.com as Joe Stiglitz talks to A's third baseman Danny Valencia in this week's podcast. A's Insider Podcast with Joe Stiglitz. It's on CSNCalifornia.com. It's also available on iTunes. Check it out. Good ball game again. 1-0. The A's leading the Astros, and Sean Manaea has been terrific. He's back out there. Maybe he watched Kendall Graveman yesterday, was so impressed, and he's trying to outdo him.
And Rich Hill maybe on Thursday, and even Daniel Mingden on Friday night. So 4 very good starts. Sonny Gray pitched well Wednesday in Minneapolis. But Sean Manaea, look at the pitch count, just 83, pitching into the 7th inning. That's a huge boost for any manager, pitching coach. Yesterday, Kendall Graveman actually pitched 8 complete innings and pitched in the 9th inning. Came out after 2 batters.
Pretty good ratio, 24 balls, 59 strikes. So it'll be Valbuena, Gaddis, and Worth. Bottom of the 7th inning. So the big left-hander deals the first pitch, little slider first strike. Valbuena with a single and a strikeout.
Might have been as good as a curveball. David McBride does a good job. As I mentioned, he's not caught a lot. It's Pat Neshek, the sidewinder loosens.
Valbuena takes that one, 2-1. Well, whatever McBride's doing today, it's working.
Yeah, he's doing a good job kind of framing the ball nicely, blocking the balls very well.
On the infield where Lowry waits. And Lowry grabs it, and that's the first out.
How many times you see a pitcher throw a fastball inside on a hitter's count? That guy just jumps on it, but he can't extend his arms, and that ball tied up the left-handed Valbuena just enough that he hit it straight up instead of driving the ball, as we have seen him so far in this series. It's a big at bat here. Paul Bunyan.
And that one well into the dirt. And a nice crowd today of 28,119. 28,119.
They're drawing well here, and they should, considering the way they're playing.
This 4-game series, we've seen 20,000, 31,000, 35,000, and then today 28,000. And the Astros, for the season, averaging 28,225 per game. That's up a couple thousand per game from last year. Gaddis, he got one to hit there, fouled it right side.
See, the Hall of Famer is back behind home plate with his wife Ruth, but no Rob Ryder today.
No, Rob's shutting it down. He's got A's colors on.
Yeah. Enos Cabell, his former teammate, said Hall of Famer either be up here with me or down there behind the home plate, and I think we've seen him for 2 games.
Simeon can't get it toward left center, and Davis slides. He can't pick it up. Chris cannot pick it up clean, and it's going to be a double for Gaddis. Chris Davis went into a slide. He was just trying to cut it off, but that ball was hit very hard, and it just kind of slipped past him. Coco went down to pick it up. He could not grab it cleanly.
And past shortstop Marcus Simeon, his ball hit so hard and to his left. Let's see if it deflected or Coco just couldn't pick it up. If Coco picks it up, Gaddis was going to be satisfied with a single. But once it got past Davis, and then Coco missed it right there. Who gets the error?
So E8. So single E8.
Well, when he missed the ball and the official score, evidently thought the same, that Gaddis is going to be happy with the single. So third today, 0 in the previous 15.
So that is a big 90 feet.
Yes, it is.
And that'll bring up Danny Worth, who has struck out and singled. A little bit low. So Manaea, who really, he's pitched well today, and he's also had to work out of a handful of jams. One in the first, runner on second in the second, and a runner on second in the third.
And last inning, E6, sacrifice, and a couple of outs with the runner in scoring position.
Good pitch there on the outside corner. .93 pitches now. Worst inning was the third, 19. Not close. Marisnick is your on deck hitter. For the A's, John Axford starts to throw.
I think if Bob Melvin could get through this inning, he might just turn it over to the bullpen. Dahl worked yesterday, got the save. Madsen available today. But another tight game, and these are always right down to the wire.
So 2-2 now. Worth hits that one hard, foul. So you saw Nishak up. He is still up on the right, but now Gregerson starts to throw. Pitch fouled straight back. So in the open of our show and also in the pregame show, Ray, we talked a lot about the A's young pitchers, and you want to see them learn. You want to see them get better. Well, pitching out of jams, I think, is a big learning experience. Pitching out of jams in the 7th inning of a 1-0 game is a huge learning experience.
Yeah. And back-to-back innings now with a runner at second and one out.
McBride coming back to the screen. Runs out of room. It was close to Nolan Ryan, but knowing Nolan, if it would have had any chance of hitting him, he just would have reached up and caught it. Or it would have stopped like a foot from him and then just veered off the baseball, because it's Nolan Ryan. There's a protective coating around that man. Come on.
You're right.
Another 2-2 pitch coming up to Danny Worth. And we'll do it again. Nice play in the A's dugout. Josh Reddick with another ball in his hand just reached up and caught it. Well done, Reddick. It's good play.
Good hands all the time. Keeps the best one, throws them not so best in the stands.
Close pitch. And a good pitch, but called the ball. So 3-2.
Same pitch that Marisnick struck out was called out, but this time it was not called a strike. Looks like Worth is just trying to use the big part of the field. We've seen him get a hit his last at bat, a single to center field. Friday night, single to center off the end of the bat. So maybe trying to pitch him inside to avoid him extending his arms.
3-2, bounced up the middle. Simeon has it, throws to first, and they get Worth for the second out.
What a great play. Another great defensive play, another ground ball. Great range by Simeon to his left. And boy, he had to unload it. Runners going to third, but a tricky hop, quick throw, good stretch, and the second out right there. Had to catch it to his left. Hey, the one thing that Marcus has, which helps him, yesterday he caught the ball up the middle by Altuve and unloaded quickly. He still takes that little bit extra hop, but he has a strong arm, and right now can recover. And see him again rotating the right shoulder, which was injured when caught a ball at the Coliseum.
First pitch to Marisnick, swing and a miss.
This is it. We mentioned he threw 97 against Milwaukee. That was at Milwaukee.
So 1-1 the count. Marisnick has struck out twice. He's 3 for 10 in the series. He's been in the starting lineup all 4 games with Rasmus out.
That's a big pitch. Gets into 1-2, and of course they struck him out up and in. Got a fastball up and away. His first at bat that he struck out. And for Sean Manaea, probably thinking, give it all in this at bat because this might be the biggest one. It's a fastball inside and up. See if he gets it there. He did.
How big would it be for him to get through 7 innings?
Yeah. Especially getting this big out. Axford is ready. And there's a changeup.
And a good take by Marisnick.
Not as tempting as it is to rear back and throw it hard and try to throw it by him. Marisnick got to be thinking the same thing. He struck out twice, didn't sacrifice his last at bat. Confirming 3-2. What is he going to throw?
And this one hit high in the air to left field. Davis is there. Davis makes the catch, and Sean Manaea clapping his hands in a terrific job today. 7 shutout innings for the young left-hander.
Animal lovers unite at the Coliseum, where the fans can bring their dogs to the 7:05 p.m. game against the Tampa Bay Rays. Special ticket is required for Bark at the Park, presented by Aviderm, Nalabone, and PetSmart. This event sells out annually, and limited tickets do remain. For information and tickets, visit athletics.com/bark to register for this special night.
7 shutout innings for Sean Manaea. He was very good.
He was.
106 pitches.
So is Dallas Keuchel. He's removed from the game. Looks like both starters going to go 7.
And it's Pat Neshek facing Matt McBride. Neshek, second appearance in the series. He pitched in game 1 on Thursday, so when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. 2-1 with a 2.63 ERA. No surprise, right-handed hitters struggling. Always been that way with Neshek. It's just a normal delivery. I don't know why they would struggle with him. There's Keuchel's line. As Ray said, very good. 99 pitches.
Well, how many times have we talked, Keuchel, that if you're facing a quality starting pitcher, and let's think the Felix, Keuchel, these guys who are good pitchers, if your pitcher pitches as well, if not better, you got a chance to beat him. Because pitch count's going to get him. 99 pitches for Keuchel. Probably could have gone another inning. But instead, he comes out, turns it over to the right-hander, the rest of the bullpen.
Kind of a half swing by McBride. A little flare. Left field, but Marisnik's hustling in to make the catch.
So Sean Manaea did his job, and you made a great point, Cap, about pitching out of trouble. 3 times, and 3 errors made by ball club. Had not made an error in 15 consecutive games, new Oakland record. But Sean Manaea, if he did not do anything today except learn how to pitch through trouble, adversity, he did it, and did exceptionally well. Especially the last one on a 3-2 pitch to Marisnik.
One away for Coco Crisp, who's 0 for 2 with the sacrifice. Red Sox shut out the Rays today 4-0. David Price got the win. Brad Ziegler pitched the final inning. No surprise there. So David Price gets his 9th win. David Ortiz hit a home run. He has 22 home runs and 72 RBIs at the All-Star break. You think that bat won't be missed? I don't care who takes over for David Ortiz. Interesting sidebar to that game for the Tampa Bay Rays. And that one down the right field line. Deep enough, but well fouled. She's happy. So is the whole group. Look at the little guy. He's fired up. But I knew the Rays were struggling. That's their 6th consecutive loss. I didn't know they were struggling this bad, Ray. They have lost 22 out of their last 25 games.
What?
3-22.
That is hard to believe. Well, I hope they continue to play that well until they get to Coliseum a week from Friday.
That is struggling.
Wow, 3-22. That is hard to believe. They're too good, especially the pitchers.
Their pitching's pretty decent. Yeah. Strike 3 called, and Coco knew it.
Well, Coco did know it, and it was right there, straight. And Pat Neshek with that little finish with his hand, right there, and he did that with Oakland. He's continued to do it, especially when he gets a strikeout on that kind of a pitch. Well, if Coco does nothing except think about the sacrifice that he laid down in the A's only inning, which the A's have scored a run, the only run of the game.
Marcus Semien has the only RBI in the game. After that Coco sacrifice, Semien with a broken bat single. It scored McBride, and that is where we are at. 1-0 in the top of the 8th. Blue Jays stayed hot. They beat the Tigers 6-1. That game just went final with R.A. Dickey getting the win. Toronto gets their 51st win. Check swing roller to the right side. Now Marcus Semien. That'll drive you crazy if you're a hitter. A check swing where you're trying to get out of the way. And it's an out, and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Bottom of the 8th coming up.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 1-4-3 for the A's, 0-5-0 for the Astros. 7 shutout innings for Sean Manaea, a career-high 106 pitches. Marcus Semien with the only RBI in the game. Dallas Keuchel was very good, but Sean Manaea just a little bit better. So now it's up to the bullpen for the A's when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So John Axford comes in for the 8th, and he gets right into the thick of it. He'll face the top of the order: Springer, Gonzalez, and Altuve. So Josh Reddick now in right field, so he takes over for Smolinski. Axford pitched on Thursday in Game 1 of the series and had a good inning, couple of strikeouts, no hits, no runs.
Had the 3 relievers on Thursday in relief of Rich Hill. 9 up, 9 down. I mean, great ending to a very well played game.
You know, Ray, I don't need 9 up, 9 down right now.
How about 6?
I'll settle for 6 up, 6 down.
That's because your starter went 7 and eliminated the other 3. You're right. I agree. Great performance by Sean Manaea.
Springer is 1 for 3. Singled in the 3rd. Big swing and a miss, and now it's 1-2. He hit into a double play in the 5th inning. So 2 for 10 in the series is Springer. Dangerous, lots of power.
Good off-speed pitch, and aggressive Springer swung through it.
And he went around.
Good slider from Axford. He has all the pitches necessary, and he gets loose, ready to throw all of them. How about that? Good hard chase breaking pitch away from the aggressive Springer, and that was called by the home plate umpire, Vic Carapazzi.
So the Astros have struck out 7 times today. They lead the American League in strikeouts. In this series, they have struck out 35 times in 4 games. First pitch to Marwin Gonzalez. He's called the ball. Gonzalez is 0 for 3. He's a switch hitter. First 3 at-bats were right-handed. In the air toward left field, but room for Chris Davis. And he has it 2 away.
And when a ball is hit like that, especially left field, the close Crawford boxes, just watch the hitter. And Gonzalez told you that he did not get into it. More of a fly ball instead of a line drive. And caught easily by Davis in front of the ball. And watch Gonzalez. This says it all right there. He looks, he goes, oh no.
I mean, listen, the Crawford boxes are pretty short, but you still have to have to hit what would be, let's say at the Coliseum, a long fly ball out.
Right, exactly. What Vogt did yesterday. I mean, that was more of a line drive, but still deep enough and a good swing to drive it as well as he did to left field. I mean, nothing's cheap.
No.
You still have to hit it and make solid contact, and this guy can do it. So let's hope it's 0 for 5 after this at bat for the all-star second baseman.
One now.
To your point, here it is. Stephen Vogt inside that, but he hit a line drive. You could tell, and he was running thinking it was off the wall, but it went over the fence, and Stephen Vogt with his seventh solo home run, and his first to left field. He'll take that to San Diego and just think it was a triple shot of the cycle.
Strike outside corner 1-2.
Big cutter, and it caught the outside corner. So a good pitch by Axford to Altuve.
Check swing, foul ball. Altuve has reached down an air and a couple of sacrifice bunts in this game.
Cut away fastball in, and it's kind of an emergency swing to try to stay alive, and he did.
So I wonder when the last time the league's leading hitter had 2 sacrifice bunts in 1 game.
I have to talk to Josh Hood about that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they can find it, but it is rare.
Strike 3 call right on the outside corner. So Axford with a 3-up, 3-down inning and 2 strikeouts. And nicely done by Axford as we are headed to the 9th. A's hanging on 1-0. Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Black Bear Diner. Feed your inner bear. Quite a ball game this afternoon. He's trying to win 3 out of 4 from a good Astros team. And they're 3 outs away from doing that. He's celebrating already. Yes, he is. Not yet. So Gregerson comes in. Neshek with the 3-up, 3-down, top of the 8th inning. So Gregerson to face Lowry, Valencia, and Davis. Up the middle. Correa backhands deep on the grass, throws in time. But he does have a strong arm, and when he needs it, he lets it go.
Why couldn't that have been Worth? He does not have the strong arm. Worth has handled a few there. Actually, there's a kick save. That's off the right foot. That was more up the middle to Correa, but with a kick save. Check the right foot by. It looked like it got him on the right foot. We'll see what the call is from official score, but it looked like a 1-6-3.
So that's out number 1, and here's Valencia. Slider, outside corner, first strike. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and small experts. 3-1, 3.52 ERA for Gregerson. Lots of movement on all his pitches. Slider just a touch outside, not by much. So Ryan Matson, the closer, starts to throw in the A's bullpen. Way out in left center field. Swing and a miss. There's that Gregerson slider. So Valencia strikes out for the 2nd time today.
Well, it is a slider. It breaks so many different ways. A lot of movement. And there's not many that can throw it as often as he does. Kind of wraps it behind his head and has a lot of movement.
So with 2 outs, Chris Davis steps up. Sinking fastball on the outside corner. Twins leading the Rangers 6-0 in the bottom of the 5th. So the Twins, 5-run 5th inning. Davis misses badly on a slider.
Well, as Steve Busby and Tom Green were saying last night, they caught the Twins at a time in which they're playing well. Good slider away. The A's found out also at the beginning of the week. Lost 2. Hey, another slider. What a surprise.
And he got him. So Gregerson strikes out 2. And folks, we are headed to the bottom of the 9th. It should be fun. A's 1, Astros 0. hanging on to a 1-0 lead when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So Madsen comes in, 17 saves, 4 blown saves, 3.47 ERA. Madsen a blown save and a loss on Friday. Tyler Ladendorf takes over at second base. So it will be Carlos Correa, Carlos Gomez, Luis Valbuena. 2 right-handed hitters, a left-handed hitter. If anybody were to get on, Evan Gattis. First pitch, close. Call the ball outside.
And it's Correa who Madsen threw the 3-2 curveball across up Friday night in front of Valbuena's 3-run walk-off.
Defense straight away. Coco Chris playing very deep in center field. Carlos Correa today, a single, a strikeout, and a fly ball to right field. And that one misses low, and now it's 3-0.
Well, this is the 3-2 curveball. As Stephen Vogt said, was a cross-up. He's looking fastball and tried to backhand the curveball that spiked out in front of the plate. And that would put runners at first and third. See Altuve going to third after he had stolen second.
That one in first out. So Correa will take one, probably won't take another one.
Well, and he's taking a couple of change-ups, which leads you to believe he might have been thinking change-up. And as Ryan Madsen has said, hitters will look for one or the other.
And this one is popped up. He got in on him.
Yeah.
Simeon waits, one away.
Well, that's a great pitch, but boy, disappointing to see a young player barely make it to first base. This ball, while you're upset, he is upset, but that shouldn't be. I mean, that ball's high enough, Kite. If it's dropped, it should have been at second base.
Yep.
And you know, it's just sorry to see that happen in the game. He didn't even make it to first. And granted, you expect guys to catch balls, but mistakes do happen.
Sure.
But I mean, what's wrong with running hard all the way? So I'm glad he didn't. Glad it was caught. That was a big out.
And I know it's easy for us to say, but I think a manager has to say something to a player.
And Bob Melvin has. He has done it a number of times, and I don't think there's any manager. I mean, you got to think about it and make a note on your scorecard.
1-0 pitch. Simeon in the hole. Backhands. His throw across is not in time. And Carlos Gomez has terrific speed. So it's going to be an infield hit.
Once the ball went into the hole, that was going to be a tough play for Marcus Simeon. And again, probably the best thing is doing what he did. That is to throw the ball into the ground. You try to airmail it. You may throw it into the stands. You may throw it well past the first baseman. Alonso's smart enough to come off the bag with the ball thrown down with the one hop and making sure that Gomez does not go beyond first base.
Yeah, that's a good point because you eliminate launching one over the first baseman's head.
Yeah, you try to make the spectacular play. So this man got a cut fastball in his wheelhouse Friday night. He didn't miss it.
Oh, good swing. First pitch out over the plate, and he fouled it straight back.
Now this was in, I mean, that was the cutter right into the wheelhouse. A surprise pitch, but he didn't miss it. Flanked it off the upper deck, or the second deck, with a walk-off. But, you know, they're playing him to pull with a shift. Kind of that dead fish changeup away down. He may roll over and end it on a double play. He does run well. It might be tough to double him, but at least keep him from maybe going deep. Oh, call it, Vic. The shoulder started it. Watch the right shoulder, Vic Carapazzo. Fastball outside. And it just stopped. Like to see the arm go up.
We'll keep an eye on Gomez as well. He's got a good lead, and he runs. Swing and a miss, and the throw to second base is on a double pump by McBride, so Gomez got a good jump.
McBride did not know he ran. McBride caught the ball, came up, and again with a left-handed hitter, you don't see him take off. Gomez looking back, but watch McBride. And then he doubled, and then he threw it, and probably at that point don't throw it, because the only thing you take a chance to make a mistake, but it gets loud, and it's tough sometimes to hear your bench call, there he goes, but that time Valbuena blocked his view.
So now the tying run is at second base, 1 out, so the Astros will get a couple of shots.
Yeah, they're going to call that. Talk about runner at second base. And this is what they should have done Friday. Did not. And there was a cross-up, but this is the runner at second. What signs are you going to use? I see he didn't cover his mouth. He's saying second sign, first sign. And that's the reason guys do it. But they're still talking about it. But now Bob Melvin. And you got Evan Gattis, Worth, a couple of right-handers, and maybe also the discussion, even though it's 1 and 2, what do you want to do?
Well, I think if you're the manager, so I think Bob sees them out there, but their catcher-pitcher conversation went on for quite a long time. So Bob probably said, wait a minute. Let's just all get together.
You know, the initial conversation was about signs.
Yeah.
Because you could see on Madsen's face at first, second, you know, again, don't know what it is. But there is a runner at second. You have to use multiple signs.
1 and 2 to Valbuena. Toward right, Reddick waits. Gomez tags. Gomez is going to try for third. Reddick's throw is a little bit offline and late. So now there are 2 outs with the tying run at third. So Valbuena, I think he got another pitch to hit.
Yeah, they went inside this time, though, with the fastball. It was not the cutter, and he just got under it. Not enough, and he knew he missed it. And Reddick timing it perfectly. Got behind it and at least made a strong throw. And really, this is only in case Gomez fell down. He wasn't going to throw him out.
So here is Evan Gattis. Evan Gattis is 1 for 3 today.
And he hit a bullet his last time just past Simeon.
First pitch is bounce foul. So first pitch fastball running in a little bit on Gattis, and he bounced it foul. So another A's Astros game coming right down to the last pitch. 0-1 delivery. And McBride blocked it.
And that's a backhand. That's an infielder's play there, but what a great play. And he did backhand it. He got his body in front of it, but the backhand, at least he caught it.
A.J. Reed has come out into the on-deck circle. And there's a shot down the left field line fair. Gomez scores, and Gattis has hurt the A's again. A 2-out RBI double.
And he hit it so hard it wouldn't hook foul. Tried to go in again, left it a little bit too much out over the plate. And just down fair.
So Gaddis ties it up, and here's A.J. Reed. Reed hitting for Danny Worth. And the pitch just a touch inside. Evan Gaddis now 4 home runs and 10 RBIs against the A's this year in 10 games.
Yeah. And boy, look at him swinging the bat yesterday, DH, and he wasn't anything at all compared to what he normally is.
Two and 0. And Gaddis at second base. He's a big fella, but he runs pretty well.
Yeah. And looks like Matson with Reed and trying to get him and fool him with a changeup. He has thrown him back-to-back changeups, and you're right about Gaddis and his speed. While he's big, once he gets motoring, he can run. Kobe Rasmussen in the on-deck circle.
Swing and a miss. Fastball upstairs. There's Rasmussen. First time he's been out of the dugout in this series. He's been suffering from a little inner ear problem.
Now I wonder if it's a decoy.
Could be.
Yeah. Just he doesn't have to be until he's announced, but instead of pitching carefully with Reed with the right-hander, they put the lefty in the on-deck circle.
Fastball in, and Reed fouls it at the plate. So now it's 2-2.
Yeah, Captain, I'm sure the Astros hitters or pitchers or hitters actually have talked to Reed about Madsen and his fastball changeup combination, because he took the first 2 changeups like he knew they were coming, and then has failed to make contact except barely on his fastball. Two and 2.
And runs outside 97 miles an hour. So the crowd of over 28,000 seeing another exciting finish, and they are all on their feet here at Minute Maid. Gaddis, the winning run at second, 3-2. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a changeup. So the Astros tied on Gaddis' 2-out RBI double. We're headed to the 10th, 1-1 game.
Service delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to ANBAT Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. You can visit MLB.tv for details.
Well, he's 1 out away from winning the series, but the Astros, their big hit late, so they have tied it, and now it's on to the 10th inning, and the all-star closer for the Astros, Will Harris, comes in. Not too many people have had success against Harris this year. The A's did on Friday night. In fact, it was his worst outing of the year, probably by far.
Yeah.
Looking at his ERA.
Well, as you had said, he had not given up an extra base hit. 27 singles, and it was the Butler double, and then the Alonso 2-run home run. A lot of good things happened, but yeah, extra innings for the A's, and unfortunately and ironically, it was the 4th of June that the Astros had a 1-run lead that, with 2 outs, Jed Lowry tied the ball game, sent it to extra innings, and the Astros won.
So A.J. Reed at first now. Marwin Gonzalez moves over to second. Danny Worth out of the game. Butler hits a high pop-up. It's headed for the seats. Butler, Smolinski, and Alonso. Correct myself. It's not Smolinski. It's Reddick who's on deck. Reddick came in the game in the bottom of the 9th. Again, foul back. What a play by a fan. A couple sections over right below us. That was a good play. It was coming in hot, and he just reached up and grabbed it. So he deserves high fives.
Give that fan a contract.
He was calm, cool, and collected. Hit hard, but right at the shortstop, Carlos Correa, and he throws across the diamond. 1 out here in the top of the 10th. Well, the A's last hit was Marcus Semion's broken bat RBI single in the 6th inning.
And in that inning, that's the only inning the A's have had runners in scoring position. Marcus brought in 1, but Marcus was left on base.
11 consecutive A's hitters have been retired, so got to give credit to the bullpen. Neshek, Gregerson, and now Harris, who faces Reddick. Smolinski, well, he was in there. It was 0 for 3. This one grounded. Gonzalez, what a play. Marwin Gonzalez, a terrific play. And fielding the ground ball was great, but boy, that quick release, yeah. He knew he had to get rid of it.
And he jumped to make the throw, and kind of all in one motion. Catch, jump, throw, perfect. And kind of reached back a little bit when he made the play. But an excellent play, and takes a base hit away from Reddick.
So 2 outs, and here's Yonder Alonso, who hits for the 4th time. Alonso, a couple of flyouts and a ground out, and he takes the first pitch strike. Orioles beat the Angels 4-2. Tillman got the win. He's 12-2. Lincecum took the loss. He's 1-3. A breaking ball, and it's in the dirt.
Well, he probably will not get this. The Astros had a 3-run lead. That was a 3-2 fastball with the runner aboard. 2-run home run made it a 1-run game. Of course, the A's went on to score 5, but the Astros 3. So Alonso probably will not get anything close to the same pitch he got Friday night. As he does go to 3-2, and he tries to challenge him.
Stephen Vogt is in the on-deck circle. That's Matt McBride's spot. Missed outside, and now 3-1. In the bottom of the 10th, the Marisnick, Springer, and Gonzalez. The pitch is hit hard, but right to Reed. Reed says, "I'll take it myself." So Will Harris has a 3-up, 3-down inning. And the A's bats quiet again here in the 10th. 1-1 game going to the bottom of the 10th.
A classic day on the green with a fireworks show on Saturday, July the 23rd, presented by Lagunitas. The legendary concerts at the Coliseum featured the Rolling Stones, David Bowie, The Who, U2, Led Zeppelin, and many more. The fireworks show will be set to music from select day on the green performers. Fans can watch the show from the outfield grass. As always, on-field capacity is limited. Get your tickets right now, today at athletics.com/fireworks.
So 1-1 game. It's the bottom of the 10th inning from Minute Maid Park here in Houston. And the new pitcher for the Athletics is Liam Hendriks. So Hendriks making his 20th appearance. Was not pitching well. Went on the disabled list. Since he's come back, he's been better.
It's amazing how, and we'll see what the Astros do. It looks like they have activity in the bullpen, so the A's can go to the 11th. The Astros use their closer. Of course, the A's used their closer, and it becomes another part of the bullpen right now for Liam Hendriks, trying to get through the bottom of the 9th or bottom of the 10th. And so Kip, it looks like, as we see what happened, that Kobe Rasmus was a decoy. He did not hit, and sometimes that will happen where you send somebody out. He had not been in a game.
Yeah. There's a shot to center. Coco's going to play it on a hop. So you're saying if he wasn't a decoy, then he would have been hitting right there.
Right, instead of White.
Marisnick lines a single to center on the first pitch from Liam Hendriks.
And he got a fastball, something that he was not going to wait around to 2 strikes. Struck out the first 2 at-bats. Go out to left field and singled here, and we'll see what Springer does. And you would think that A.J. Hinch is going to try to get a runner in scoring position.
Springer 1 for 4. Marisnick can steal a base. First pitch is outside. Marisnick's got 4 steals on the year. He's been thrown out 3 times. Springer a long look down. Third base coach Gary Pettis.
First pitch curveball, not a good pitch to bunt, especially the way the pitch was thrown. You're right about Marisnick with his speed. So you have to pay attention, which Hendricks did by throwing over.
Shows bunt again. This time it's a called strike on the outside corner. Yankees beat the Indians 11-7. Wild one in Cleveland, so the Yankees went into Cleveland and took 3 out of 4. Try to cool off the Indians just a little bit. And a half swing by Springer. So Springer now behind in the count 1-2.
I agree with you.
Kind of a strange at bat for George Springer. Good lead by Marisnick. Pitches in the dirt, 2-2. Well, the first couple pitches to Springer, he showed bunt. The next 2 pitches, not bunting. The count is 2-2. When Gonzalez is on deck. The Astros, a good base stealing team. It would not surprise me if he took off.
Exactly right. And this is a big pitch, because if it goes to 3-2, he'll definitely be running, if not on this one.
And the pitch is up and in. So now 3-2.
Well, the one good thing, if there is a similar situation that the stolen base by Gomez last inning, at least now McBride can see the runner first if he takes off. And when Gomez stole, he had no clue that he was not able to see him take off and threw late.
Marisnick goes, and the ball is flipped over the head of Alonso. Foul.
That would have scored the game.
That would have been the ball game.
Yeah.
By the time that ball landed, Marisnick was well around second base.
And Gary Pettis, as aggressive as he is at third base coaching, he's on the move. He's looking back. He sees the ball is going to land, fair or foul, just foul. And the way it checked up and spun, you're right. Speed of Marisnick. Don't even like to think what might have happened.
Defense plays Springer straight away. Marisnick takes off, and it's tapped slowly up the third base line. Foul. Manaea went 7 innings. Axford pitched the 8th. Madsen gave up the tying run in the 9th. So unfortunately for Sean Manaea, his best outing as a pro.
Yeah.
He was very close to getting a W, but he will not get the W.
But he learned a lot from today. I would think, considering the trouble he was in, and 5 times of the 7 innings, had a runner in scoring position and did not allow a run to score.
Marisnick goes. Swing and a miss. McBride's throw to second base is a little off target. Marisnick's got a stolen base. So the A's get the out, but the Astros get the 90 feet.
Well, they're seeing now There's nothing, watch the replay, there's nothing happen as the swing. Springer stays there, and there's no contact, nothing. It's just a delayed throw by McBride. So Bob Melvin talking to the umpire. It's the only thing I could think it would have been, but that time clear there was no interference.
So that'll bring up Marwin Gonzalez. So that is the 10th strikeout by A's pitchers today. So now a couple of tough outs. Gonzalez and Altuve to follow. First pitch is tapped foul. Gonzalez today is 0 for 4. He reached on an error in the 6th inning. In this series, he is 4 for 17. The numbers from today. Runners in scoring position. The Astros 1 for 10. So they have stranded 7 through the first 9 innings. A's have stranded 4 through 10 innings.
Okay, if you look up the middle, Ladendorf at second is in shallow right field playing Gonzalez to pull. Semyon, the only one trying to keep the runner Marisnick close, and that's the danger sign because Marisnick can run even with a left-handed hitter. He may think about it. Looked like he shot up a flare before the last pitch. Maybe just to see what kind of jump he could get.
And it's a tough spot for Semyon because for that reason you sort of want to try at least to keep him close somewhat, but you can't give up your position because it's the winning run.
He's already giving up a lot, and now he gets back. There's plenty of time now to take off if he wanted to.
So 1-2 now. Again, Altuve is your on-deck hitter. And Liam Hendricks making his first appearance in this series. One-two pitch, and it's blocked by McBride, and a very nice block.
That ball really spiked hard, almost hit the hitter, and curveball, and Dave McBride moved laterally perfectly and able to get the glove down, use his body to block the ball, and keep it close enough that Marisnick could not go to third.
So the count even 2-2. These outfielders come in a couple steps. 2-2 pitch. What a play by Alonso. Hustles to the bag and beats Gonzalez for the second out. A game saver by Yonder Alonso. That was a smash.
But the glove on his left hand, fortunately, as that ball was hit hard. Dive, able to take it himself with Hendricks there, but what a great play. I mean, if he doesn't want to go glove, I don't know who is at first base, because there's some good ones, but Alonso, the A's have seen him every day be the best, and that is definitely a game saver.
So now 2 outs, winning run at third, and here is the league's leading hitter, Jose Altuve.
Would he bunt again?
Yes, he would.
And Valencia better think about it.
Altuve takes a breaking ball low.
And it says
0 for 2 today with 2 bunts.
It says a lot about the respect Correa has, the on-deck circle, and Altuve. He's a type of hitter that there's really no way to pitch him. His strike zone is up and down, sideways. He makes contact with almost everything that's thrown when he swings the bat.
Blocked again by McBride. That is the on-deck hitter. Altuve in this series is 2 for 15.
We're going to put him on now, which is maybe trying to get him to chase the changeup. Maybe that's the first walk today, Cal, but it's unintentional by the A's. June the 4th, Saturday afternoon, after Lowry had tied it, and that's the walk-off down the right field line. That was Springer, a double, went to third on Altuve's sacrifice, and a game winner. So forget about the runner at second, or first, going to second. When Altuve runs, you got to think about this man, Correa.
Correa today 1 for 4. He singled way back in the first inning. He is 3 for 16 in the series. Altuve not being held on, so swing and a miss. Correa chased the pitch out of the strike zone.
First pitch slider, the curveball thrown first pitch to the leadoff batter. Actually, the leadoff batter got a base hit, but the first pitch curveball to Springer. Then he attempted a bunt. Excellent slider, though, by Hendricks.
Well, why wouldn't Altuve go?
I agree.
I mean, you have to go, right?
You should take the force away.
Take the force away. I mean, that could be the difference in the game.
Yeah.
He's not being held on. He has a monstrous lead, but
and they're two.
You got to go in the first pitch.
And they're 2 outs, so there's no chance of being doubled off. That's the concern if there's less than 2 outs.
And now he's inching off more. He's not running. Valencia backhand straightens up, long throw, and they pulled him off the bag, and the game's over. Valencia's throw just a shade high. Alonso did everything he could. He tried to swipe tag on Correa, couldn't do it, and the Astros are going to win the game in the bottom of the 10th inning.
Well, and I thought, we were just talking about Altuve not running. I thought he might go to second, which is a shorter route for Valencia. Instead, he goes all the way across. It would have been close at second. Wasn't enough at first. And it's enough for, he had to really throw hard, and he came up the line. Alonso, who had saved the game with a great play, could not pull this one down quickly enough to make the tag on Correa. And not even close enough to challenge it.
So it goes as an error, 4 errors this afternoon for the Athletics, and a very, very disappointing loss. So a couple of heartbreaking losses here in Houston over this weekend. So today's game took 3 hours and 5 minutes, 28,119 extra innings. The Astros tie it in the 9th, and they win it in the 10th. Final score, Astros 2 and the A's 1. You've been watching A's Baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Brody Brazil and Shooty Babbitt starts right now.